High in the wintry north, where the frozen remnants of ancient Wyveria stand amidst one of the most unforgiving environments in the known Forbidden Lands. These are the Iceshard Cliffs. The region exists in constant transformation. During seasons of plenty, clear skies reveal pristine snow and haunting ruins from a vanished civilization. When the frost winds arrive, fierce blizzards transform the landscape into a white-out hell, with ancient structures crackling with some strange mysterious energy. I bet whoever discovered this was shocked. Beneath the surface lie massive caverns shrouded in thick webbing, perhaps evidence of the predators lurking within. Strange gravitational anomalies cause rocks to float, suspended in the frigid air. This is a land where only the most resilient survive, and where the apex predator Jin Dahad prowls during the most brutal storms. Welcome to the Iceshard Cliffs, a frozen territory that will claim the lives of nearly all that venture in. Much like their other mantle bug brethren, the Heatmantle Bug wraps itself in plant matter found in the ecosystem. But instead of finding plants with healing properties, they seek plants with heating properties like hot peppers to mitigate the cold. These heating properties are absorbed and stored within the honey held within the mucous membrane casing on their back. With that strategy, these little guys live in extremely cold environments, being able to survive on the surface amidst the deadliest blizzards. But if a pesky hunter snags their cloak, they'll have to burrow underground to survive the frigid temperatures. Similar to its dung beetle relatives, the rime beetle frequently gathers up snow into a ball and rolls it perpetually. Due to some nature of their ecology, rime beetles are limited to cold habitats and are far more tolerant of the intense cold than other insects. No one knows why they roll their snowballs back to their nests. Some theorize it's to grow the organic matter they feed on, while others think it could be related to reproductive behavior. I probably wouldn't go around touching those snowballs as much if that's the case. But either way, these dense balls of snow can be used by hunters as frostburst ammo, which deal elemental damage and can stagger the monster, which can be particularly helpful if they're charging or about to hit you. To understand the Pillopod, one must first understand the Wormway. Beneath the surface of the Forbidden Lands lies an ancient marvel. A vast network of branching structures, stretching like the roots of some colossal tree, pulsing with energy from a time long forgotten. This is no natural formation. The Wormway was built by the Wyverians, an advanced civilization whose ruins now sleep beneath the ice and stone. From the heart of their lost capital, energy flows outward through these conduits, reaching even the distant Iceshard Cliffs, where towering walls of ice mark the frozen boundaries of an empire that fell over a millennia ago. And clinging to this ancient infrastructure, the Pillopod. With specialized organs lining its abdomen, it draws sustenance directly from the Wormway's currents. A parasite? Perhaps. Or perhaps something more. A creature that has learned to thrive on technology older than recorded history? Its eyes are remarkably developed, its nervous system sophisticated beyond what its simple body would suggest. These are the hallmarks of ancient lineages, organisms perfected long ago. Could the Pillopod be as old as the Wormway itself? A possibility researchers have considered. As the Wormway hums with power across the frozen wastes, the Pillopod remains, unchanged, untroubled, drawing life from the legacy of a vanished world. Once believed to inhabit only a single extreme, the Gloom Gecko was long misunderstood. That assumption did not survive closer study, though. Populations exist at opposite ends of the former empire, enduring environments separated by vast distance, elevation, and temperature. Conditions that should demand specialization instead reveal something far more rare: biological flexibility. The explanation appears to lie beneath its crimson and purple scales. More than a warning display, these scales conceal a layered dermal structure capable of regulating extreme heat exchange, retaining warmth in sub-zero conditions, while rapidly shedding excess heat in volcanic regions. Its blood chemistry shows similar defiance, resisting both freezing crystallization and heat-induced breakdown, allowing vital systems to function where most organisms would fail. Rather than commit to one climate, the Gloom Gecko remains adaptable. Its metabolism slows to near dormancy when cold demands conservation, then accelerates under intense heat. Feeding on cave insects common to both regions, it requires no shift in diet, only endurance. High above the Iceshard Cliffs, where frozen ruins pierce the sky and white cliff faces stand like monuments to a forgotten age, something impossible occurs. Rocks. Massive fragments of the earth, floating suspended in midair, defying gravity itself. A mystery left behind by the Wyverians? Currently, we can only see it as a phenomenon science cannot yet explain. And drifting through these levitating platforms is the Solanaria. They move like eels through water, but here, through frozen air. Translucent fins ripple along both sides of their bodies, undulating in graceful waves. Within these delicate membranes runs a circulatory system that pulses with bioluminescent light, casting an ethereal glow against the pale stone. And, like their oceanic counterparts, the jellyfish, they possess a simple nervous system. No brain, just a decentralized network of nerves that guides their graceful drift. And at the same time, these sky-faring eels are impossibly fragile. Even the slightest shock, the gentlest gust of wind, can tear it apart completely. Yet, this is not death. This is transformation. Each severed piece regenerates into a new individual. One becomes two, two becomes four, like a starfish regrowing from a severed arm, or a flatworm splitting into clones. The Solanaria doesn't fear destruction, it embraces it. Multiplication through catastrophe, or survival through fragmentation. You decide. In the ruins of Wyveria, a peculiar resident has made its home. The Gawki, a creature that seems out of place. Slow, unhurried, standing upright on its tail like a curious onlooker, watching the world passing by without fear. This lack of caution tells us something remarkable. The Gawki evolved in a world without predators, perhaps in the height of Wyveria's civilization? When these halls were filled with life and the streets were safe, it never learned to run because it never needed to. Now, surrounded by the frozen bones of that lost empire, the Gawki still exists, gnawing on the ancient land spine itself to wear down its ever-growing teeth. Like a beaver shaping wood, or a rodent filing its incisors, the Gawki maintains its dental arsenal on the very infrastructure that once powered a civilization. While being a peaceful creature, researchers believe its diet has changed over time. Today, it's omnivorous, taking what it can find. But those teeth suggest a harder past. Surviving on bone, or maybe even stone, we can only speculate on what its diet once was. A living relic, standing on its tail among the ruins, curious, unafraid, unchanged. The empire fell, but the Gawki still remains. Watch closely. On rare occasions, perched atop the backs of the Raphma can be found some particularly rotund, feathery shapes. To curious onlookers and collectors alike, these little fluffy balls of speed are one of my personal favorites, and are also known as the Downy Crake. With rotund bodies concealing disproportionately long legs, these birds have perfected the art of the free ride. They huddle together on their unknowing hosts, moving across the snowfields without ever touching the ground. It's commensalism at its finest. The Raphma graze, oblivious, while the Crakes survey the landscape from above. But approach too closely and you'll witness their true adaptation. Those impossibly long legs unfold, and the Downy Crake becomes one of the fastest creatures on the cliffs. Gone in an instant, a blur of white feathers against the white snow. This wariness, its hair-trigger flight response, speaks to a prey species refined by a millennia of predation. Always watching, always ready. And yet, remarkably, populations have been observed living alongside Wyverians in settlements like Suja, an unusual symbiosis, possibly similar to the wind rustlers of Kunafa. Either way, these Crakes nest near people. In return, their eggs are carefully gathered in what seems to be a trust that has been earned through generations. From the backs of mountain herbivores to among Wyverians, the Downy Crake has learned that survival sometimes means choosing unexpected allies to coexist with. Once dismissed as a fragile surface insect, the Purewasp has proven far more resilient than its appearance suggests. Early classifications failed to account for its survival in environments saturated with toxins, ash, and corrosive vapors, conditions that should destroy an organism seemingly so delicate. Yet, Purewasp populations persist where heavier, hardier species would collapse. The reason appears to lie in its internal filtration systems. Unlike most insects, the Purewasp processes air and nutrients through a lattice of specialized membranes that neutralize impurities before they reach vital organs. These membranes regenerate rapidly, allowing the wasp to endure prolonged exposure to chemical and particulate contamination. Its name, researchers believe, derives not from innocence, but from purification. The Purewasp's exoskeleton further supports this theory. Microscopic channels along its surface actively shed residue, preventing buildup from toxins or ash. What little contamination remains is broken down and expelled during flight, leaving the insect largely unaffected by its surroundings. Behavior reinforces biology. Purewasps avoid prolonged nesting and instead migrate constantly through hostile zones where predators struggle to follow. Their diet, drawn from resilient fungi and mineral-feeding mites, requires no clean ecosystem, only persistence. Long regarded as an unremarkable cave amphibian, the Sleeptoad has quietly outlasted an environment suited to creatures that would be considered far more active in comparison. Its survival is not built on resistance or mobility, but on retreating, actually. When conditions deteriorate, when food disappears, when temperatures collapse, or entire ecosystems fail, the Sleeptoad withdraws into a state of extreme dormancy. Metabolic activity slows to a fraction of normal function, conserving energy so efficiently that months and years can pass without measurable decline in any way. During this period, the toad secretes a dense, insulating sheath that seals in moisture and shields the body from heat, cold, and physical harm. Unlike a nest or a burrow, this barrier is biological, forming directly against the skin and preserving tissue at the cellular level. Analysis suggests the compound freezes decay rather than repairing it, placing the animal in a state closer to preservation than actual sleep. In this condition, the Sleeptoad does not respond to any stimulus. Time becomes irrelevant. Only when external conditions stabilize does the sheath soften and release its occupant. Neural activity resumes, movement returns, and the toad continues as though uninterrupted. And that was the Iceshard Cliffs. Thank you so much to anybody who watched or even just watched for a fragment. I have a lot of fun making these, and I really love that people are enjoying them. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.